And good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I will be taking you through the tackle trading website here this evening, letting you know what we're doing over here, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. So appreciate you hanging out with me and appreciate you taking some time to get to know us a little bit here at Tackle Trading. If you have any questions along the way, of course, feel free to ask. Do my best to answer them for you. I guess at the end of the day, tackle trading is just a community of like-minded traders, right? Where we can get together, share ideas, help one another out, help each other learn, and build out our personal trading systems. While no one can ever trade for me and I can't trade for anybody else, it is nice to know there's a place where I can easily find other traders to bounce ideas around with. And trading is definitely a fun thing, in my opinion. And everything is more fun with friends, I guess. So I'll dive right in. I cut it into thirds when I'm explaining tackle trading. I kind of go with the things that you can do on your own. That's going to be things like blogs and courses and some of the tools that we have around here. Then things that you can do with others. That's going to be our schedule. What are we doing Monday through Friday? What are we doing on Tuesday nights type of stuff? And number three, our weekend reports. At the end of the week, we all get together and put together our scouting reports for our team members to help them prep for the upcoming week in the market. So that'll kind of be the angle that we come at it here this evening. We'll kind of take that approach. So we'll kind of start here before we dive into those. I do want to bring up a couple of things. Number one is the huddle. It's a new podcast that we're doing over here at Tackle Trading. You can catch it right up here. That'll take you to the link to the huddle. It's on all of the major podcast providers, or you can just listen to it like me, just directly on the website. Just a quick 10-minute podcast each morning going over the top 5 stories of the trading day, just to save you some time. Just dive in, listen really quick. Coach Matt and Coach Tim put that together, do a fantastic job. Definitely I don't really like to dig around the news personally. I know it's important to be aware of things, but I don't really enjoy that side of trading. I'm much more of a chartist, if you will. So it saves me a lot of time and energy having somebody else do that. It's a fun listen, definitely a good time. You will also find a link, and right now I'm in the Trade Center here at Tackle Trading. You'll find a link to tradingjustice.com. Each week, Matt, Tim, and Mark do the Trading Justice podcast. Again, you can listen to it over directly at tradingjustice.com or on any of your major podcast providers. It's always a great listen. More in depth than the huddle every week, talking markets, talking all sorts of good stuff, trading related. A lot of fun, very informative. Definitely worth checking that out. There is also a pretty awesome newsletter that tradingjustice.com does each month. Very detailed and a lot of fun. A lot of good information in there. So I would definitely encourage you to check that one out as well. Definitely worth the read. Let's dive right in. Let's dive right in here this evening. And I guess let's kind of start at the top. Things that you can do on your own. And the thing that really jumps out to me in that scenario is going to be courses. We've got several courses available to all of our pro members here. We also have a handful of premium systems that are kind of their own thing, kind of a one-time purchase, and that system is yours for life. I don't want to get too caught up on those tonight, but I do want to just really quickly let you know what they are. They are going to be our Tackle 25 system, which is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year particularly with covered calls, writing covered calls in mind. So it's a covered call based system. Our STEP system is our swing trading system, just standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000, selling credit spreads, and the bear market survival guide, protecting yourself and your long-term portfolio in bearish market conditions, as well as profiting from those conditions. Those are all standalone products. They are kind of a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of those teams in a mastermind group. If you would like any more information on any or all of them, you will be able to find that over in the store. You can send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. You can hop into our clubhouse and ask team members who use those systems what their thoughts are. Just let us know if you need a little bit of more information on those. But they will be the only things that are not available to you here at Tackle Trading that we go over here tonight. Everything else that we talk about is available to all of our pro members So you should have access to everything else that we are about to discuss, including our 7-step guide to trading. This is a free course available to anybody, pro member or not. This is a short course. It's only about 2 hours long. In some ways, it's kind of a get to know the tackle trading way type of a course. We have there's a lot of us here at Tackle Trading, and if you put two traders in a room, they're not going to do the exact same things, right? When you put lots of us, that's true, even more true. But we do kind of share a kind of a fundamental approach to the markets, from starting at the top, that top-down analysis, into choosing strategies that fit that analysis, finding and those trades and comparing those trades, prepping them, placing them, managing them, journaling them. So this will kind of let you know kind of the way that we as a community over here at Tackle Trading approach trading the markets. If you're a new trader, it should also be very helpful in helping you put together a bit of a routine. That's an important part. If you're a vet, you've probably got a little bit of a trading routine, and maybe you can get a couple of ideas out of here as well. But if you're a new trader, having a good routine is very, very important, and I think that can help you out on that front. You will also find a technical analysis 101 course. As traders, charting is very important for us. That's letting us know, hey, what's the overriding theme, right? Are we in an uptrend, a downtrend, a sideways trend? What should we be looking for? Where do we get in? How do we target? How do we place our stops? Those type of things. We got to have charts to be able to do that, right? And the better we are at technical analysis, the better we're going to be at pretty much whatever other kind of trading we do, whether that's day trading, cash flow trading, swing trading, you name it. I think we'll be benefit from any type of trading if we get better at technical analysis. Very, very good course. Definitely would check that one out. Our options 101 is really going to focus more on the options, what's going on with the options as opposed to strategies. And I'll show you where we have our strategies here in a few minutes. But we're going to be talking about, hey, what's going on when you buy or sell that call or put option, right? How does time impact that option? How does volatility impact that option? How does price action impact that option? The better we understand the option contract, I think the easier we're going to have doing whatever option strategies we might be interested in using. So it's going to really be focused on the mechanics, what's going on with that option. It's not quite as straightforward as a stock, right? If the stock goes up $1, you get $1, whether it happens in a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, right? There's a lot of other factors that are impacting the price of those option contracts. We do need to understand them if we're going to be options traders. If you've ever been interested in learning more about either the futures or the currency market over in Forex, we have introduction courses to those markets as well. Kind of what's going on, how do those markets work, what does that leverage look like, right? In many ways, they're very similar to trading anything else. In other ways, we do need to understand kind of what moves those markets, how, they're leveraged markets, and how does that work? So if you've ever been interested in either or both of those markets, but maybe not known where to start in a fairly straightforward, easy manner, might suggest these courses as a place to start. No matter what you're trading and what your time frames are, every one of us, we know it's important to have rules. We know it's important to have repeatable systems. For some of us, for a lot of us actually, it's one thing to know and it's another thing to do. Not everybody kind of default thinks as a systems builder when it comes to their trading. The system development course is one I can't highlight enough, no matter what kind of trading you like to do and where you are in the process, to help you learn how to think and behave as a systems developer when it comes to building your trading plans. Coach Christian did a great job putting that together, helping people kind of train themselves to think in those terms instead of just think, I like it, I'm going to buy, or I don't like it, I'm going to sell, right? That might be oversimplifying it. But as traders, in my opinion, at least, everything we do needs to be repeatable. It needs to be repeatable on a different stock at a different time, at a different price. Otherwise, maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, right? I always hope it works out, but we want to be a little bit better than that. And the systems development should be able to help you as you build along those lines. For some reason, I cannot get my chat function over on YouTube to go. So I do apologize if you have any questions. I am not seeing them. I'll tinker with a little bit more, but for some reason, it's not coming up for me. Just a heads up there. If you do have any questions, I am not seeing those questions as of right now. I'm not sure what's going on there. Not everything has to be a course. We have blog content that we're doing regularly, whether it's more charting over in Tales of a Technician, more on options in the Option Theory blog, hearing from our awesome female trading community over in the Women in Trading blog, working with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner and taking concepts kind of from the ground up. So short reads, right? Depends on you probably, but these are going to be relatively short reads, not take you a lot of time, but just another way that we can share ideas with our team each week, every other week, things of that nature. Not everything has to be a course, right? I brought up our strategies in regards to those options. You're going to find those over here in the Trade Center. You're going to find the Tackle Trading Playbook, and that's where we have all of our strategies and our rules for those strategies. We break it down into three core areas based off of the option Greeks. We've got delta for directional, D for directional, right? When you buy a stock, that's a delta play. When you buy a call option, that's a delta play. When you do a bull call spread, that's a delta play. So when you think delta, when it comes to our playbook, think direction. Hey, I think this stock is going to go from point A to point B, right? From 50 to 55 or what have you. Then we have theta. That's our cash flow component, right? That's the selling component. That's the cool thing about options is we can sell them, right? So that's going to include things like selling covered calls. Hey, I own 100 shares of company, XYZ. I'll sell a covered call, bring a little cash flow in on that thing. Naked puts. Hey, I don't own 100 shares of XYZ, but I would be willing to buy it at my price. I'll sell that put option at that price, do a little cash flowing while I don't have that stock, eventually probably get it. Then we're going to have things like our credit spreads, our bear call credit spread, our bull put credit spread, our iron condor. So the theta or time-based strategies, that's going to be our cash flow stuff where we're selling options and taking advantage of the one thing we know for absolute certain, and that is that today is going to pass, right? I can never guarantee that my stock's going to go up or down tomorrow, but I can guarantee that it will be Wednesday in the not too distant future, right? So then you're going to have your Vega or your volatility playbook. These are, hey, I don't have an opinion on which way the stock is going to move. I have opinion on how it's going to move. We're coming into an earnings season right now, right? We got the big financials company starting at the end of the week. So I might want to place a trade on something because I expect a big move on earnings. There's no way for me to know if that's going to be a move up or down, but I expect based maybe on the stock's history that it is going to move a lot. Or maybe the market thinks the stock's going to move a whole lot, but I look at it and say, you know what? It just doesn't tend to do that. I want to bet against that. So these are going to be directionless, right? I'm either, I expect big movement and I'm building a trade that reflects that one way or the other. I just don't know up or down. I expect not a lot of big movement. I'm going to take advantage of maybe some inflated premiums that go along with that volatility and bet against what the market currently believes. So that's going to be how we're going to break down our playbook here. In each of these, there'll be a video going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose that strategy, what our rules for the strategy are. There's even an example, an example using TOS if you're using the Thinkorswim platform of how to kind of get into the trade. There's also a little PDF download so you can have easy access to those rules for any of the strategies. You'll notice that all of the strategies are somewhere between 0 and ±3. And that is simply kind of where we see them. We always want to match the strategy to our read on the situation, right? If I'm aggressively bullish, I might do things a little different than if I'm slightly bullish, right? And maybe I'm wrong, maybe my read's wrong, but my read is still my read, right? And so if you kind of think about it, 0 is flat neutral, ±1 is slightly bullish or slightly bearish, +2 or -2 moderately or just normally bullish or bearish, and then 3 or -3 very bullish or bearish. That's just kind of letting you know where we see these strategies on that spectrum, so we can kind of let you know kind of how we view them, at least in those regards. So that is going to the playbook. Once again, that's in the Trade Center. You'll find the playbook there. You'll also in the Trade Center find a link to our trading journals, a link to our glossary, a link to our events calendar, and we'll probably come back to the events calendar before we are done here tonight. If you go directly into the Trade Center, you're just going to find some different traders tools in here. Tried to save you some bouncing back and forth and clicking all over the internet. The Trade Center's page, the home page for the Trade Center itself, it's kind of a what's up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show? what are our most recent posts, our most recent report, most recent tweet. There's a little watch list if you want to, build a watch list in here. If you do want to do that, you'll just, throw in your symbol here. Say you wanted to add, Tesla to it for whatever reason, just throw it in there. Now you just need to left click, that'll highlight it blue. We'll hit this little plus button up here that will add Tesla to this watch list. When I come back to my trade center, it will still be in here. If I decide I don't want it anymore, I don't need you in here anymore, APHA, same thing. I'll just select it in the watch list. I'll left click to highlight it, and I'll hit this minus button. That'll get rid of it for me. So you're going to have your watch list realistically built in your own trading platforms. I know that, but some people do like to have kind of an easy access, don't have to log into their TOS or, IB or whatever their platform is. So, to each their own, but that's how you use that if you're interested. A short upcoming events calendar. Hey, what do the next couple of days look like? The events calendar will be much more in detail, but just, hey, what are the next couple of days looking like? Either a live showing of one of our YouTube shows. Right now, there's us. Typically, it's going to be the halftime report. It might be our Wednesday night webinar, or a replay of those webinars will be found in here as well. It'll also track where you are on any of the courses that you're in. So if you're in Module 2, 7 minutes into the Futures 101 course, you can pick right back up where you left off when you start back up. So it'll just kind of keep you organized a little bit. So it's kind of just a what's up page here at Tackle Trading. There is, as I mentioned earlier, a direct link to tradingjustice.com. Obviously, you can just get there at tradingjustice.com, but that'll take you right over there if you want to catch the podcast or read the newsletter. There is a link to the market skyline, and this is just going to be kind of a one-stop shop with a whole bunch of the major charts, right? Our major index charts, the S&P futures, the Dow futures, NASDAQ, RUT, Bitcoin, the emerging markets, right? So kind of the big top of the market. Then the major commodities: gold, silver, copper, crude, natty gas, the sector ETFs, the sector spiders, XLB, XLC, so on and so forth. So a lot of these things are very important, right, to the market, and particularly us if we're trading, in these areas. So just having them all in one location, so you don't have to bounce around a whole heck of a lot. It's what you'll find in the market skyline. You will also find a link to a FinViz heat map in here. If I smack that, it's going to bring me to a free FinViz page. It is a free FinViz page, so you will probably run into some ads unless you're a subscriber to FinViz. But just a quick visual. Hey, what did today look like? Right? Not a whole lot of broad movement in the market, right? But we can kind of see what areas stood out, what areas were a little bit weaker, all of that fun stuff. There's, of course, the FinViz screener. If you wanted to do some screening as well, there's the screener in here as well. But that'll just take you directly over to that FinViz heat map for the S&P 500. You will also find a news aggregator that's going to go through some of these major, financial sites: Market Watch, CNBC, right, Wall Street Journal, the Times, and just kind of go through the headlines and kind of aggregate them here for us, so I could just kind of quickly browse through the headlines instead of having to bounce through all of these sites. I can just kind of scroll here. If something catches my eye, I can click it and read the article. Again, just kind of in the name of saving some time and bouncing around. A link to the economic calendar to see what's on the docket tomorrow or for the rest of the week. A link to our report, which you'll also find up here. We'll talk about in a few minutes. A link to our trading journals. If we go into our trading journals directly through the Trade Center like we're doing right now, again, there is that little drop down that'll take you there as well. But if we come the way we just did, it will have the video tutorial for you if you need a little help getting to use that. It's a very helpful tool. If you're not journaling your trades, I certainly encourage you to start doing so. It'll save and make you money in the long term. Pretty straightforward, right? If we want to download it here, just scroll down a little bit. It'll be set up on the trade journal. Our download will be right in here. You also have our Theta research journal, so we can build and compare our cash flow trades, be them covered calls, credit spreads, whatever, as well as the portfolio journal, just to help us keep a little bit organized, right? If you just got 2 or 3 trades going on that you got into this morning, you probably know what's going on. But if you've got 17 that you've been putting on, one way or another over the last 3 or 4 weeks, that might be a little bit more difficult. So in any one, you'll just select the one you want, scroll down, and your download will be in there, as well as the video tutorial if you need it. A link to the compounding gains calculator, a link to a chart if you ever need it, a link to the trading glossary, a link to the search function, which you can also find this little magnifying glass right up here is the search function. And the search function at Tackle Trading is pretty smart. If you're ever looking for something, never hesitate to reach out and ask us. But a lot of times you can easily find whatever it is you're looking for just by doing a quick search. So can save you a little bit of time on that side of things. Our clubhouse is kind of our own personal social media, for maybe of a lack of a better way to describe it. It's just us. It's just trading. If you have some questions, you can throw them out to the team, share ideas, just in an easy place to connect with other traders, right? It's kind of like our own personal Facebook. It's not Facebook, but it's kind of like Facebook in that regard. But it's just us. It's just trading. And it's just a place where if you have a question, hey, maybe I have an answer, or maybe I know somebody who does, right? So it's just an easy place to stay in touch with one another and help one another out. Certainly invite you to join us in the clubhouse as well. So that will kind of end that first portion of kind of things that you can do on your own. Don't be afraid to, take it one at a time. Everybody's in a different place, right? You might be a brand new trader. You might have been trading for 2 years, right? In a lot of ways, you're going to build your own tackle trading, right? It's not a race to get it all done, but hopefully that explains that for you. Now let's talk a little bit about things that you can do with others, AKA the schedule, right? We're going to be with our team each and every market day in a variety of ways. Let's kind of start with our Traders Lounge. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we do, and you can find all of these in the shows tab, we do our Traders Lounge. We get together with our team for an hour, and it's just a place where we can get together with the team and answer your questions. So whatever those questions might be, maybe you're struggling with a strategy, and it would be helpful just kind of beginning to end walk through it. Maybe you have an interesting trade setup that you want to bounce around with the team. Maybe you are, got some trade going and just, want to talk some management strategies. I mean, who knows, right? Everybody needs some help sometimes. Everybody has questions, and the lounge allows us to do that. You're always welcome in there. You don't feel like your question is too basic or too advanced. We have lots of different traders here at Tackle Trading, right? All of us are on the same page, though. We all want to see each other succeed, so no one's going to judge your question or anything along those lines. That's every market morning. So pretty much Monday through Friday, right? At 11 Eastern. That'll go for an hour. This is the one show we don't regularly record, but we will record snippets in here. And so you can kind of, see some recent topics, signs when a trade's going, not looking so hot. You'll find all sorts of fun, different things in here. If your schedule is such that you can never make it to the lounge, but you do have a question and you need some help, let us know. Send us an email. We'll do our best. We always try to accommodate our team the best that we can. It's not a big deal for us to record a snippet. If you're just working at 11 Eastern and you just can never make it live, but you need some help, let us know. We're always going to try to do right by our team. So not a huge deal for us to get the snippet and the recording in here in the Traders Lounge. Then shortly after the Traders Lounge, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern, where we do our halftime report, live looking at the market, looking at, hey, what's going on today? Where are our charts? What's going on in the news? Stocks in the news, the different components of the market, be it the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, oil, gold, right? All of that fun stuff, just to kind of make sure that we're on top of the markets. We'll be live every day at 12:30 with the team. Of course, being on YouTube, once the stream is over, it will automatically post right to the YouTube channel. So that's at 12:30. So every single market day, we'll be with our team in the lounge here at 11, then hopping over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 for the halftime report. So we'll be here with you each and every market day to help you out and to have you help us out too, right? It's a team game. Then we have our evening shows, our evening schedules. On Mondays, we do this onboarding webinar, just taking, anybody who's new to tackle trading or maybe looking into tackle trading for the first time, to kind of take them through the site a little bit, let them know a little bit about what we're doing over here, what we're about. On Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our coaches show. I would say that this is our flagship show. We're a couple days into the market on Tuesday night, right? We can kind of adjust, hey, based off of what we've seen going into the week. Is any particular area, sector, industry standing out? So we can do a market skyline. We can also, and one really cool thing about the Coaches Show is it allows us to take one of the many, many concepts in trading, of which there's a ton, right? I mean, we Could be something like indicators, right? MACD, RSI, ATR, stochastic, right? Bollinger Band. I mean, there's a lot of indicators. It could be something like patterns, trading flags, trading breakouts, right? Trading reversals. It could be strategies, trading bull call spreads, trading diagonal spreads. But it could be a lot of things, portfolio management, all sorts of stuff, right? What the Coaches Show really allows us to do is take one of those many, many concepts and have a really in-depth discussion on that one topic. We always do try to keep it topical for our team, but it is a lot of fun, and it's always a great way to share ideas with the team. That is live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Tackle Trading. It's recorded and archived, so if you can't make it live, we certainly understand. You can watch it at a more convenient time. If you want to rewatch it, you can do that. If you want to watch an episode from 2 years ago, you can do that. They're all archived in there. Certainly encourage you to check out the Coaches Show each Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesday night, we head over here to our YouTube channel where we do our Trade Masters webinar at 7 p.m. Eastern. Coach Mark will host the show, and he'll bring on a couple of us coaches. We'll each bring some trade ideas to bounce around with one another and the team. And at the end of it, Coach Mark will declare a winner for the show. Just a fun way to be able to hang out with the team, share some trade ideas, thought process behind it. Always a lot of fun. Live on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday nights. On Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern over here at Tackle Trading, we do our Cash Flow Club. That's going to be a little more narrowly focused than the Coaches Show because we're going to focus exclusively on building and managing those cash flow strategies, those covered calls, those credit spreads, those condors, right? Those type of things. I would say as a community, we're pretty big on cash flow trading here at Tackle Trading, although, every trader is different. I think as a whole, we are most of us do like the idea of having some cash flow strategies as part of our trading systems and plans. But it really allows us to take deep dives into building and maybe even more importantly, managing those type of trades. So that's Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're a cash flow trader, or if that's an area that's been interesting to you, you'll learn a heck of a lot over there in that cash flow club. We also have a couple of special events. We have a Women in Trading mastermind group. We have an awesome team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They get together about once a month. I'm not a woman in trading, so I don't know exactly what happens there, but I do know the team, and I know that they're getting a lot of good work done in there. I know they're having some fun and having some good laughs. I talk to them before and after. If you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would certainly jump into the next one. You're going to be with some great people, great traders, fun to be around. I'll never get to go, but I'll always be a little bit jealous. So that's our Women in Trading Mastermind group. Our Mind of a Trader is kind of a couple of different things. So I'm going to come over back into our trade center, to our events calendar, and kind of show you this. Do a couple of different Mind of the Traders. On Fridays, about an hour before the market closes, so I'm in Utah, so 1 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern, Coach Mark does his at the closing bell. The easiest way to get into the Mind of the Traders, but you can do this with any show, is just come into the event calendar, click on the one you want to get into, and that'll get you the information. Coach Mark does his commodity report live on Fridays, and he also just kind of bounces ideas around with team members going into the end of the week. Late week setups maybe for early next week. They bounce around ideas in there. I've stolen a few trade ideas in there. A lot of fun in there. That's the Mind of a Trader at the closing bell on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Coach Mark also hosts a weekend prep class on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for about an hour. Again, just get with the team. We've had the futures market open for a little while now, right? And we can, based off of kind of what we're seeing, some game plan going into the very early part of the trading week. So just another way to be able to hang around with the team and share ideas with what's going on. So that's our Mind of a Trader weekend prep class on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern. We also, on Wednesday nights, after the YouTube webinar is over, we get together over here at Tackle Trading in our Traders Lounge Labs edition, where we just kind of answer any questions, walk through examples, bounce ideas around with the trade setups that we discussed over on our YouTube show, Trade Masters. So if you're, shortly after that Trade Masters webinar ends, we'll hop together over here at Tackle Trading and discuss those setups in more detail, talk strategy selection, all of that fun stuff. So as you can kind of see, we're pretty busy. We'll keep you pretty busy. We'll be doing our lounge and our halftime report each and every market day. We've always got something going on in the evening, Monday through Sunday, I guess, through Thursday. We've got things going on. Again, don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading. If you can't make it to them all, I mean, we'd love to have you in all of them, but we understand, right? Don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading a little bit. And if you're ever feeling a little lost or overwhelmed, the events calendar in the trade center is, hopefully an easy way to kind of see, hey, what's going on today? When is it? How do I get into the darn show if it's time to get going? So hopefully that explains that for you. As you can see here, on Fridays, you'll see our scouting reports, or on Saturdays, our scouting reports and our tackle newsletter. On Fridays, after the market closes, we all get together as a team of coaches here at Tackle Trading and kind of, talk about what's going on in the market, how we're individually viewing it going into the upcoming week. We call that our scouting report meeting. Out of that scouting report meeting comes our weekend reports, the newsletter, the stock, options, commodity, and Forex reports, right? We'll get these to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through any or all of them before the market opens back up. And because we want to make sure you have time to throw them to you on Sunday night at midnight and say, have fun. So let's start with the newsletter. Tackle News, as you saw when we were looking, and maybe you've already taken the 7-step guide to trading course over here at Tackle Trading, we take that top-down approach. The first step in that 7-step guide to start at the top of the markets. And that's a fundamental belief that we have here at Tackle Trading. And that's exactly what we're doing in the Tackle newsletter. We're going to talk about, hey, what's going on in the market? What are the storylines? What's moving it? Where is it, from a technical point of view, all of that fun stuff, right? The market's always got a personality. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's mellow, sometimes it's confused, sometimes it's euphoric, sometimes it's, fearful, but we want to accept its personality, right? Sure, it might change, it will change, right? So, but what's going on right now? What are the upcoming economic events that might be worth keeping an eye on that could have an impact on the market? Of course, we'll have a video in all of these going over this stuff with you, so we can kind of talk you through it. Where's the S&P? Where is that from a technical point of view? How are we seeing it? You'll find the ETFs that track the major indexes: DIA for the Dow, QQQ for the NASDAQ, IWM for the Russell 2000, SPY for the S&P 500. So you'll find the index ETFs as well as the sector spider ETFs. If you are not familiar with the sector spiders, you can learn more about them at sectorspdr.com. That is the web page for the ETF provider. But what they do is they'll go into the S&P 500 and pull out stocks just in that sector. So for example, XLE, the energy sector ETF, we go into the S&P 500, we pull out just the energy stocks in the S&P, and we put them into this portfolio. So this is a look at how the energy sector is performing versus, say, the communication sector versus, say, the staple sector. These are ETFs. They are tradable. These particular ETFs are optionable. But even if you never want to trade them, they're a great way to kind of take that overall look. Hey, how are these different sectors looking? Is anything shaping up? What's showing relative strength or weakness? They are very handy tools from my point of view, at least. Even if you never ever trade them, to kind of take a look at what's going on in the different sectors. So they'll be in here. Coach Gino's Arkham high-low indicator will be in here. What this thing's going to do in a nutshell, it's going to look at over 8,000 stocks. So it's going to look at the internals of the market and say, hey, who's putting in, new highs versus new lows, right? As opposed to, when we look at, an index, for example, they're weighted, right? They're very top heavy. This is taking a much, more detailed look at the internals of the market to let us know what's kind of really looking like is going on. You'll find the seasonality chart from a historical perspective. What does the market tend to do this time of year? So I don't know if you can see this here, but it's over a 20-year period that this data is gathered. From a historical perspective, April is good, right? So, it's been good so far, right? So far history's right on on this. Historically speaking, we get into the summer and there's a lot of chop, a lot of back and forth, right? Historically, we have a really good fourth quarter. Now, does that mean it's going to happen again? I wish it were that simple, but it is important information to have, right? It is helpful for us. We just don't want to overvalue it. You'll find a upcoming earnings calendar. What are the big names that are have coming out with their earnings this upcoming week? This is going to be very full here starting next week, right? This is just kind of the first week of big earnings coming at us. Uh, the sectors will rank the sectors each week. We're going to rank the sectors based off of the components of those ETFs. Hey, where are we seeing utilities versus healthcare versus technology, the type of stuff, right? You'll also find, historically speaking, what tends to be the strongest during this month, what tends to be the weakest during this month. Doesn't, again, historical data is great. We just don't want to overvalue it, right? And just because it's the worst historically doesn't mean it has to do bad, right? Of course, you'll see our rankings. We rank them on a football field, right? You'll also kind of notice we do the 0, 1, 2, 3, -2, -1, 2, 3. But unlike stocks, whereas it's very common for me to really be bullish or bearish on company XYZ and want to build a strategy that reflects that, it's very uncommon for us here at Tackle Trading to put an entire index, an entire sector that aggressive, right? So it's going to be more like football. If you're a football fan, when we were in between the 40s, where nothing's really going on, right? But once we start driving, we get into the 40s. Now we're starting to push the red zone. Once we get in between the 20 and the goal line, we're probably going to get some points, right? From a football perspective. And that's kind of how to look at it. It will be very, very rare that you will see us put an entire sector or commodity or something like that in that aggressive -3 or +3 territory. It's just really not who we are as a team, but we will be moving them each week based off of what we're seeing within the components. And again, we can kind of talk you through the thought process there in the video, so it makes it a little more clear why we've done the things that we've done, but it'll let you know what sectors we see being the strongest each and every week, or the weakest, or if there's a lot of separation each and every week. A friendly reminder to match your strategy to the situation, right? We want to make sure that we are doing that. There's also a pre-built scanner in here. So if a particular sector has caught your attention, you said, I kind of like the way the staple sector is looking right now. What I'd just like to do a quick scan here. We'll just open this one in a new tab. We'll come here really quick. This will bring you to a list of what I call trader-friendly stocks. And all I mean by that is they're very liquid. They are optionable. With any options, you always need to double check the liquidity to make sure you're comfortable trading it. But be it through stock or options, it shouldn't be a hard sell for me to put together a trade on anything I might find in here if that's the route that I want to go. So it'll have, so that's kind of the names that will be in here and the type of companies that'll be in here. It allows us just to do a quick, just browse, look, see, we saw the ETF, the staple, right? It's, it's kind of at resistance, maybe a breakout candidate. We can see on WBA, little bit of a pullback, maybe a retracement candidate, right? Maybe you like Tyson here that's potentially breaking out here today. Maybe you like, it doesn't matter what you like or what I like, right? It's just an easy way to find some potential trade ideas. Could never make a trade off these tiny charts, but what I can do is I can kind of click on this and I can say, okay, there's a little closer view at the chart. Yeah, you know what? That's interesting enough to actually go look at it in a real charting platform. So I can head over to my platform and see if there might be something there. I'll just need to go back to screener, just kind of a tip there. So it takes you right back to where it is. So just an easy way to kind of work through a whole bunch of charts very quickly. Hey, look, PG, nice little breakout candidate potentially right now. Probably has earnings, 3 days from now, which is about what happens this time of the quarter, right? But I can kind of see, yeah, look, we've kind of caught our bottom. We've broken above some moving averages. Now we're kind of sideways. I would call that a breakout candidate. I might want to go take a closer look at it. Your mileage might vary, but that's kind of the idea here with our screener. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. We'll have that built out for any and all of the different sectors. So that's going to be the newsletter, taking that top-down approach. We can kind of let you know kind of how we're looking at things going into the upcoming trading week. Then we'll have our stock, option, commodity, and Forex report. As I mentioned earlier, Coach Mark does do his commodity report live in his Friday afternoon Mind of a Trader, but of course we'll get that posted directly in here as well. Mark does a great job talking about both the technicals and the fundamentals of what's going on over in the commodities market. Coach Cody typically does our Forex report for us, where he can highlight, hey, what are the trade setups on the major pairs, right? With the dollar, the euro, the yen, all of that fun stuff. He also does a lot of teaching our team over there that maybe aren't trading Forex, but are kind of interested. He does a really nice job of teaching our team how to get involved in the Forex market, in the Forex report each week as well. The stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another. I mean, obviously, they're going to focus, on what their name would suggest. So we'll come into the stock report here. Each week, we're going to put together, some trade setups and some trade candidates coming into the upcoming week, both from a bullish and bearish perspective. We'll also take the opportunity to do a little bit of teaching. This week I talked a little bit about using windows in your trading. So if you miss the perfect entry today, you don't just naturally discard the stock. You kind of recognize that window, right? Coach Greg over in the option report talked about volatility and how we can use it to our benefit. We'll also have a watch list with trade ideas. In the video, we can kind of talk you through the technicals. Hey, why is this here? What are we kind of looking for? Stop loss ideas, target ideas, right? So we have some good quality trade setups each week, depending on what you like to trade. Now, the option report is going to be built very similar, but it is important to note a couple of things. Number one, if it's in the stock report, we felt as a team of coaches that it just wasn't a great option play. Now, typically that's because the option liquidity was poor. If the option liquidity isn't there, it isn't there. And you don't ever want to be stuck in an illiquid option, right? And we can always trade the share. So that's the number one reason probably that would be here, but it might be a pricing and the way that the stock moves, and things like that. Whereas things in the option report, we've checked the option availability. While we could trade stock trades with them, and that's certainly a legitimate option over in the options report, we do like them for some different type of candidates. In the stock report, we're going to talk a little bit, we'll talk a lot about technical analysis in the stock report, right? Whereas over in the option report, while the setups are going to be similar and the technical analysis every bit as important, and we're not going to ignore it, we're also going to spend a lot of our time talking about strategy selection, right? And so they're going to be built the same way, but they're going to have a little bit of a different approach, if you will. The general rule that I have is if it's in the stock report and you want to trade options, you can always go double check the contract, see if it's something you'd be comfortable with. If it is, great. If it's not, it's not, right? You don't control that. Conversely, if you find something in the option report that you'd like to trade stock on, that's never going to be a problem. So that's kind of how you can do that. Use that each and every week. Again, in the video, we can kind of talk you through the technicals. Why is it here? Some ideas. What would be some potential bullish signals, stop loss ideas, target ideas, all of that fun stuff. So you can easily come through at the end of the day and say, hey, is there still something here I would like? I cheated. I did it this week, and these stocks are in my watch list too. So maybe I like the breakout of this little cup and handle here on Train Technologies, right? So I can easily go set up a trade. Couple of things to note using this trading view software. If you want to hide your watch list to give you a little more charting room, you'll just hit this little tab right here. That'll get rid of your watch list, and hit it again. It'll bring it back. Your indicators will be right here. They will not save. So if you want to add some indicators, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but do be aware that when I come back to this page, they're all going to be gone. So don't go too crazy, would be my advice. If you add an indicator, like I always will add the ATR on pretty much every chart that I look at, you can just kind of hover your mouse between the border between volume and that indicator, hold your left mouse button down, and you can zoom it up or down as you see fit. So that's where you'll find your indicators. If you prefer bar charts, you can change it to a bar chart in here. It is set to the daily chart. We're looking at it primarily from a swing trading perspective, but you, for a variety of reasons, may want to look at different time frames. This little drop down here will bring that up for you. You got the hourly chart. There's minutes as well. So if I want to look at a 15-minute chart, I can. If I want to look at the hourly chart, I can. If I want to take a look at the weekly chart, I can. So it will allow me to change my time frame to take take a closer look, whatever that might mean specifically for me. Although again, these are primarily swing trading candidates, so they are kind of looking at the daily chart, from a first and foremost, I guess, if you will. You'll find your trend line tool in here. That will be where you can have your trend line, and you can either draw your actual trend lines, or you can draw horizontal support resistance. There's a lot of other things in here, but just some of the big ones I want to show you. So we can kind of, okay, that's what we're kind of seeing here. We're seeing higher lows create. We've got a little cup and handle, breaking resistance. If I want to get rid of them, I'll just left click them and then hit the trash button there. That'll get rid of them. This one right here is probably the handiest of them all, for me at least. This is our prediction and measurement tool, and here we can build long or short positions. So since this is in the bullish watch list, say, okay, well, I'm interested in maybe prepping a trade. And of course, this is just an example, but I would get in right here, right? And then I can, I'll zoom down page a little bit. I can, again, hold my left mouse button down and wiggle the chart so I can, be comfortable with the sizing of all of it. Maybe I've got a target price in mind of $180, and that's kind of where my target is. And I got a stop loss in mind of 167.05. And I can see what that trade looks like, what the risk to reward is. Hey, I'm risking $1 to get $2.11. I'd be comfortable with that as a swing. Most swing traders do kind of live by the at least 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? But I guess to each their own on that side. So just let us prep the trade. You can see what our risk to reward looks like, where our stop loss actually is, our target. If I said my target price is $200, I mean, who knows? It might get to $200, right? But that probably is not the most likely thing, at least in one swing, right? It probably isn't going to go straight up to 200. And that kind of, when I look at that, yeah, that's probably a little bit optimistic, Frank. Maybe that's a little too aggressive from a target point of view. And again, maybe you disagree with me, and that's okay. But that's how we can use this tool. Same thing on the bearish side, right? If we're trying to build a bearish trade, okay, well, we got some confirmation, more confirmation today. I'd get in below today's low. I put my stop loss, here, and I've got my target there. So it just will do the math for you. It saves a lot of time for me, at least. I can't imagine not using it. So, but we will have both bullish and bearish watch lists. Just like the market. If the market's predominantly bullish, that's what we're going to be as well, right? But it's always a good idea to have candidates on both sides, so you're ready if for whatever the market might want to throw at you this upcoming week. So our reports are just ways for us to share trade ideas, share our watch list, gives us an opportunity to do a little bit of teaching as well. So you have some quality trading candidates each and every week. If you are interested in using them. Again, you can expect all of these reports by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up. So that's going to be our weekend reports. A couple of other things, and I'll let you run here this evening. We do have our Tackle Today email. If you don't get it and would like to, you can just go directly into Tackle Today and you can sign up for it. Just a quick little email every market morning. We will also post it in here, although it will be delivered much more quickly to your inbox. It will be in here as well. If for whatever reason you just prefer to read it here, you will be able to do that. We are active on all of the different social media platforms. We talked a lot about YouTube for our different live streams and our live shows, but we also have a lot of other content on our YouTube channel. We have a lot of how-tos, what are's, Thinkorswim. We have a whole playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials. We're always doing more, so certainly invite you to join us over on our YouTube channel. If you're a LinkedIn or an Instagram user, we do have pages over there. If you're a Facebook user, we do have a Tackle Trading Facebook group where team members who do use Facebook can stay in touch with one another and bounce ideas around with one another. I myself am a Twitter guy, and so that's where you'll be more likely to find me. But over on Twitter, we can kind of share interesting charts, top movers and losers, upcoming earnings, stuff going on over here at Tackle Trading. So while I will never try to force anybody to use any social media platforms, if you are using any of these platforms, I certainly invite you to join us over at whatever you do like to use. Hey, if you're a Twitter user, I'll probably see you over there. Like I said earlier, if you're ever lost, not sure where to go, what to do next, never hesitate. Send us an email, team@tackletrading.com. We are here to help. Never feel like you can't reach out to us. That's what we are here for. Anything else I wanted to hit here this evening? Well, I do apologize. I was not able to get my chat function going. So those of you who joined me live, I appreciate you hanging out with me and I hope you're doing well. And I'm sorry I could not see your chat. If you had any questions, feel free to send an email and we can get those answered for you. And hopefully that's a one-time YouTube thing. I don't know what that is. I've never had that particular problem before, but usually if there's a way for me to have a technological problem, I find a way to have it. That's just who I tend to be. Most importantly, here at Tackle Trading, we believe that everybody should be able to control their own finances. We believe it's important. We believe everybody's capable of doing it. We also know that it's a big world and it can be a little intimidating. It can be very easy to spend a lot of time working and not getting a lot done. And it's nice to have a team that you can lean on when you need to lean on them for whatever reasons that might be. And at the end of the day, we just all want to see each other succeed, right? I can't make your trades any more than you can make mine, but I have no doubt if you had a great trade setup, you'd be happy to share it with me, and vice versa. If you couldn't figure out how to buy a call option, I'd be happy to show you how to buy a call option. I'd be more than happy. It's not a big deal to show you how to do that. So it's just a place where we can get together as like-minded traders and help one another out. We'll keep you busy. We'll keep you occupied. We will always try to do more than you can keep up with. You might be able to outpace us, but we do try to make sure that we've got lots of content each and every week for our team over here at Tackle Trading. And more than that, it's just nice. It's nice being able to talk trading with traders. If you're a trader, you don't need me to tell you this, but it's one of those subjects, right? Either people really want to talk trading with you or they really don't. There's not a lot of middle ground, right? And for a lot of us in our, day-to-day normal life, if you will, we don't know a lot of people who love this stuff and are actively engaged in the market on a day-by-day basis. And so when we're kind of telling them about the breakout on train technologies, they're just kind of looking at us, be like, "What are you talking about, man? Go away!" Right? Not here at Tackle Trading. I could talk about that breakout on technologies for a good half hour, I imagine, before I wanted to look at another chart. And that really is the case here, and it's awesome to be able to be part of a community. If you are not a pro member, we always have a standing offer of a free 15-day trial, so you can come check us out, see what we're all about, check out these shows. That will be linked in the description of our video tonight, as well as any video that we do in the future. That's always open to you. So I certainly extend the invitation to join us and come check us out over at Tackle Trading. Ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this evening, but I hope it gave you a better idea of what's going on over here at Tackle Trading, a little bit more about what we're about, where you can find things, what the schedule looks like, all of that fun stuff. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at team@Tackle Trading. Be more than happy to answer them for you. I will see you around. This will not be goodbye. This will just be good night. I will see you around Tackle Trading. I have no doubt about that. I certainly welcome you to the team. I appreciate you hanging out with me this evening or catching the video a little later in the week. And thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Tackle Trading. And I will look forward to seeing each one of you very, very soon. Until